Well, so here I am outside on another beautiful day. So what am I going to do? I'll put brake pads on this thing. It's a 2015, 2016 Jeep Cherokee. Uh, not the Grand Cherokee, just the regular old Cherokee. So I just changed some brakes yesterday or the day before, one of them two, on my Kia. And basically, I want to show you that brakes is brakes, and basically the how they work and who the manufacturer is doesn't really matter, but they all work basically the same. You just enter the coolest life. Well, I did find something interesting. I think it's worth noting is these weren't nuts that I pulled out of here. These were actually screws. So these go all the way in there like that, and they come out looking like that. Huh, interesting. Normally when you've got some threads that are sticking out that look more like this on this end, they look like that, and then as you take the nut off, your nut looks like that. That's all you have. You don't have all one and the same. So this one here's a little bit different. That was one thing I noticed that was different from my Kias and any other car. Actually, I've taken the tire off on. I learn something new every day. Let's see what else we can find. So I learned a couple things on these, or makes them a little different. Oh, get my hand out of the way. So this particular bolt back here, you notice how it's not square. It's one of those star bolts, and they're a pain in the butt. You need a special star tool or set to get that off. It's about a 15 millimeter, I believe, but I'm going to try to do this for the first time without removing that piece. Typically, I'll take this piece here off also, which is like a big U shape. I'll take this piece off, and there's a bottom part to it right there. I'll go ahead and remove this and this at the same time. Let's say this and this at the same time, and go ahead and look them over really good. But I'm going to try to do this with just removing this piece here. We'll see how that goes. Now, I will say this particular Jeep came with two different sizes of brake pads. Why is that? Well, because it came with two different styles of brakes. The only big difference was one's got one cylinder, one's got two. I know before I talked about how brakes, each one of these brakes comes what they call is a cylinder. So the one up top is called the master cylinder. I'll show that to you in just a minute. This one here has a single cylinder. You see how round it is? There's others that this same model comes with, and it's actually got two smaller cylinders right here that will come, and when you hit your brake, it pushes against the brake pad, which looks like this. Pushes against the brake pad. Now, and of course, they then, when you hit your brakes, squeeze onto this rotor here, and cause you to stop. So after I tried to put those on, and then I realized that I had the wrong brake pads, I had to go get the right brake pads. Luckily, I got two cars, so this is pretty handy. And I always make sure before I do any kind of work, I make sure my good car that I'm not working on is behind or closer to the road than my other car, because I've got a carport here and I've got a single driveway, so I don't have two separate pads. But anyway, that's what I got so far. I'll let you know how it goes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this here. I'm going to push it in using a C-clamp. I'll probably use this pad here. I'll probably put this pad over top of it, and then I'll squeeze it together, because I want this thing to be squeezed all the way down. I'm going to put my new pad here, my other new pad here, along with my handy duty little clips, which I have in my bag. I've got some new clips to replace these. I'm going to go ahead and replace those. I probably don't need to. They don't look like they're worn at all. But I'm going to go ahead and replace those, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right. Looks like fun, doesn't it? It's actually not nearly as hard as you may think it is. I'm just a backyard mechanic. I don't do this stuff for a living at all by any means. Anyway, so there's one more thing I wanted to add. A lot of times when you have these brake pads, the old ones, they've got a clip on them right there. And that clip is going to wear down, and as it gets closer and closer, it's going to start to scrape and make a lot of noise. And what that does is that's going to let you know that you're about to go on the metal piece right here, the second piece. That means your pad, which is here, is about to be eliminated, and now you are scraping on this little piece right here. So you want to put those on there. This particular set comes with 4 of them. Normally they only come with one looks like this and one doesn't look like this. Doesn't have this little clip on it, but this one here actually comes with 4. I don't know if I'll put all 4 of them on there or not, but I'm at least going to put one on each one of them for each one of my tires. But that was something different. So this pack did come with a little bit of grease. Now, you're putting grease on here. You don't want grease on here, do you? No, you don't want grease on there. What you do want is when you put these brand new pads in and you put this new clip, which looks like this, you put this clip in here, you can see it right here. You put a little bit of grease on that tip, right there on the end of this tip. And that way it's going to slide right in there nice and easy. So it's a whole lot easier to put both of these on, which I just got on. You can see how much better, much nicer they look. You put just a little bit of grease, and now I'm going to try to push that cylinder in. And as I screw this thing down, which you can't see from there, can you? So as I screw this thing down, I'm pushing this cylinder back inside of here. And it seems to be working like a charm. It just takes a whole lot of, they make special tools that reach in here and they spread them, but a C-clamp will work just fine as long as you get it at the right angle. First, you have to be smarter than the tools in a situation, which sometimes is a struggle for me. All right. I got that nice down there on there. Nice. Now I'm going to unscrew it. And because there's no pressure, and because I went up to the master cylinder, which is up top, I went up to the master cylinder and I unscrewed the top to the master cylinder. Oh, that's not too good. And that should slide in just like that. Now all I got to do is take these screws and put them back in. Once you get it lined up, that's a lot easier. That one's in there. And that one's in there. So basically, how many screws did I use? I got these 2 screws here on the back. And I got these 5 that are holding the tire in. And that's all there is to it. That's all I had to take out. So my next job is to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. So anytime you're dealing with a jack, especially in your own yard, you definitely need to block the tires. And what do you do when you block the tires? You essentially, sounds exactly what it sounds like. You put a block behind the tires, primarily in the direction of the hill. In my particular house, the hill goes that way. So therefore you want to put a block behind the tire. And here's why. Let me just knock it out of there. It'll stick. That tire will roll back on here. Roll back on here and it will stick, and you'll have to boom, like really knock it out of there after you've lowered the car already. Right now my car is lowered, so I'm ready to work on this other side. Well, it looks like I got this one on. Not too much adjustments. It went on pretty good. Slid this piece here off, put these pads back in there, so that press that using my C-clamp, I press that cylinder back in there and put that back on. And now I need to put the lid back on my master cylinder, and of course this tire back on. Oh, so here's my master cylinder here. You see I got it loose because I want to make sure when I push those cylinders in on the 2 tires that it let that pressure, because it's hydraulic is what it is. It's hydraulic fluid. Well, technically it's brake fluid, but anyway, it works like a hydraulic system. Water goes that way, water goes this way. Hydro. So anyway, when you push it out of the cylinder, it needs some place to go. What it does is it'll come back up in here and fill this back up in a sense. Which is why every now and then, every 10,000 miles or so, they'll check your brake fluid. It looks like you need to add some. Why do you need to add some? Well, brake pads are getting smaller, cylinders are going in further, it's using more brake fluid, so you need to add a brake fluid to it. But looks like we're good now, and we'll get this thing back on. Looks like we're going to be closing out this issue of Coolest Life do-it-yourself edition and how to save money. This brake job here, just put new brake pads on the front. Go ask your mechanic, say, hey, how much would it cost me to put brake pads on the front of my car? They're going to say, $150, $200. This cost me less than $50. and I did it myself. It's not that hard. I even think you and anybody can do 7 bolts. That's all it takes. 5 on the tire, 2 inside. Anyway, I hope that helps. Be looking for more fix-it videos. I may have those. Also my traveling. I also do some masonry stuff too. Stick around for some of that. I got some stuff coming up. So be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all down the road. You are now exiting this life.